In today's social media-driven world, the pursuit of likes has taken a dangerous turn. Risky selfies snapped from cliff edges with wild animals or in other life-threatening situations are becoming a disturbing global trend. What used to be casual self-expression is now for some a deadly game of one-upmanship. Northern Thailand offers a stark example. In less than 6 months, 3 people lost their lives trying to capture the perfect shot. 2 were bitten by venomous snakes. 1 was mauled by a bear. All were attempting high-stakes selfies in remote mountain areas. These tragedies highlight the alarming cost of social media validation and raise urgent questions about how far people are willing to go for online attention. The rise of extreme selfies isn't just a phase, it's a public safety concern that demands attention before more lives are lost in the name of digital fame. Somchai Phanurat, a local tour guide in northern Thailand, was driving a group of tourists back from a jungle trekking trip when he spotted something unusual near the Myanmar border. As their vehicle passed a stretch of desolate hillside, he noticed an Asiatic black bear limping near the edge of the forest. The animal looked injured, moving slowly and appearing disoriented. While most people would have kept their distance, Somchai saw an opportunity. Ignoring warnings from his passengers, he pulled over and got out of the car, phone in hand. He wanted a selfie with a wild bear. The tourists pleaded with him to stay in the vehicle, but Somchai was determined. He slowly approached the animal, positioning himself for the perfect shot. What happened next was both sudden and tragic. The bear, likely frightened and in pain, lunged at him without warning. The encounter turned violent in seconds. Despite the efforts of the group to scare the animal away and call for help, Somchai suffered fatal injuries. His death shocked the local community and served as a grim reminder of the real dangers behind adventure selfies. What started as a moment of thrill-seeking ended in catastrophe, not because of recklessness alone, but because of a growing trend where social media glory is worth more than safety. Somchai's story is just one of many, but it underscores a larger problem. The cost of a photo can sometimes be a life. Despite its smaller size compared to North American bears, the Asiatic black bear, also known as the moon bear, can be extremely dangerous, especially when injured or feeling threatened. This is a fact Somchai Phanurat underestimated in the moments leading up to his tragic death. As he approached the bear for a selfie, the ground beneath him was damp and unstable from earlier rain. Just a few steps away from the animal, Somchai lost his footing. He slipped suddenly, arms flailing, and fell forward with a loud thud. To the wounded bear, this movement was not harmless. It appeared aggressive, like an attack. Instinct took over. The bear, already agitated and in pain, reacted with force. It lunged at Somchai with surprising speed, knocking him to the ground before the group could intervene. The attack was swift and brutal. By the time others rushed to help, the injuries Somchai sustained were too severe. This moment, seemingly a split-second accident, marked the deadly consequence of an impulsive decision. Somchai's sleep wasn't just physical, it was a lapse in judgment. He underestimated the situation and overestimated his control. In trying to capture a dramatic moment for social media, he crossed a line between curiosity and recklessness. The incident serves as a harsh reminder: wild animals are not props for photos, and nature is not a backdrop for digital bravado. When we ignore that truth, the price can be irreversible. The terrifying attack unfolded over several long, chaotic minutes, captured on video by stunned tourists who could do little more than scream for help. As the Asiatic black bear mauled Somchai Phanurat, the peaceful forest trek turned into a scene of panic and horror. Blood soaked the ground as the injured bear, driven by fear and pain, relentlessly attacked. In a surprising act of bravery, a local dog, small but fiercely loyal, rushed into the chaos. Barking wildly, it beat and snapped at the bear in an attempt to distract it and protect Somchai. For a brief moment, the bear hesitated, but the dog's courage, however heroic, wasn't enough. The bear quickly turned back to its perceived threat. The tourists, paralyzed by fear, kept their distance, unable to safely intervene. By the time emergency responders arrived, it was too late. Somchai had suffered massive blood loss and critical injuries. Despite the tourists' calls for help and the dog's valiant effort, he died at the scene before rescue teams could reach him. The footage now circulating online is difficult to watch, but it has sparked a wave of public reflection not only on the risks of approaching wild animals, but also on the growing obsession with dangerous selfies. Somchai's death wasn't just an accident. It was a tragedy that might have been avoided with a moment of caution over impulse. In the aftermath of the attack, local wildlife authorities launched an urgent search for the bear involved. Using tracks and signs left behind in the underbrush, they were able to trace its movements through the forest. The Asiatic black bear, still wounded and visibly distressed, was found not far from the site of the incident. Acting with caution, the rescue team successfully sedated the animal using a tranquilizer dart. Once it was confirmed to be unconscious, they transported the bear to a nearby wildlife rescue center. Their veterinarians began treating its injuries, which were likely the result of earlier conflicts, possibly with poachers or other animals. The bear's physical condition and behavior were closely monitored over the following days. Though the attack on Somchai had tragic consequences, authorities made it clear that the bear would not be punished or destroyed. Instead, it was treated as a victim of circumstance, a wild animal reacting out of fear and pain. The goal now is to rehabilitate the bear and determine whether it can safely be released back into the wild or should remain in care for its own safety and that of others. The bear's fate, like the story itself, highlights the delicate balance between humans and wildlife. When that balance is disrupted by intrusion, injury, or misunderstanding, the results can be deadly. But this time at least, the animal was given a second chance. The tragic death of Somchai Phanurat serves as a powerful wake-up call about the dangers of ignorance and disrespect toward wildlife. His fatal decision to approach an injured bear for a selfie wasn't just a personal mistake, it reflected a broader issue, the growing disconnect between people and nature. In an age where social media clout often outweighs common sense, moments like this remind us of the real cost of chasing online attention. This incident underscores the urgent need for public education on wildlife safety. People must understand that wild animals are unpredictable and should never be treated as props for photos. Respecting distance, reading warning signs, and prioritizing safety should be non-negotiable, especially in natural settings. No photo, no number of likes is worth a human life. Raising awareness and promoting responsible behavior around wildlife isn't just important, it's necessary to prevent tragedies like this from happening again.